everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks so much for coming to this week's edition of the Tank Virtual Variety Show. I'm Madeline. I'm a director and designer. I mostly work on opera and theater, and most of my work revolves around music because I used to be a musician. And during the pandemic, since live performance has mostly been halted, I started working on more like music videos and stuff like that. So for this variety show, I really wanted to focus more on musicians whose work has been affected by COVID-19, and a lot of different musicians and collaborators that I've personally worked with. A lot of these musicians really haven't been able to perform since the pandemic started, so I really wanted to particularly spotlight their work today. And we have a lot of different genres going on. We have some classical music, we have some bands, we have some more like experimental sound design. And so we also have like a lot of different modes of sharing their music today. So we'll have like some music videos, we'll have some studio recordings, we'll have some live streams, and even an interview. So please stay tuned. I'm going to be putting the Venmos of the musicians in the comments section. So if you can, please donate something to them. That would be great. So basically, I'm just going to be announcing each piece and giving you a little bit of info about the artist before we start. And then I'm just going to go right into the performance. So, okay, let's start. So the first piece is a music video called Bone Dance, and it was filmed on the beach in Chicago, like right before the pandemic started. So here's some bios of some of the performers. So Nick De Laurentiis is the musician. He goes by he, him, his. Nick De Laurentiis is a Chicago-based musician, originally from Agora Hills, California. The music from Bone Dance is the first song on his debut album, Good Boy, which melds his experience as a singer-songwriter with his training as a classical musician. So Joshua Knoll is the director. He uses he, him, and he's playful and heavy-footed indie director and filmmaker from Chicago. So then we have Luzzo, who's the movement director, who uses he, they. Luzzo is a queer artist, filmmaker, preacher, director, actor, and a movement director working to uplift queer stories and strengths. Check out his work on luzzo.org. Okay, so let's start the video.
You left behind, the clock you can't unwind. I want you to be happy, I want you to be kind. I know you had a bag of feathers and wishbones, but you would flush the rest, and they would find a home. The things you left behind, you think I won't discover. I give you all the garden, but you just want the butter. The quietest appliance belongs to the loudest noise. When you wonder what they said, remember everyone I know, everyone I know plays God games, but they don't even pray. Everyone I know, everyone I know see the world, a prison in the sky. The things that you've forgotten, well, they don't forget you. They're waiting by the shore, the only thing that's true. But you've already lost it, you've left it on the shelf. You tried to be remembered, but you forgot yourself. Everyone I know, everyone I know plays God games, but they don't even pray. Everyone I know, everyone I know plays away, they will find our bones, and we'll be screaming out, and we will say, Devil. Away, no prayers left to pray, singing Amen, Amen. 30 years away, buried under waves, singing Amen.
Okay, amazing. Glad to see some more people joining us now. So our next performer is Emily Blue. This is another music video called 7 Minutes. And Emily is the musician for this, and she's also the director and the editor. So a bit about Emily. Emily Blue is a rare flavor of pop, provocative, dynamic, and constantly evolving. The Chicago artist draws from a wide range of influences: glitch pop, 80s rock, hyper pop. Blue's last EP, Star 69, was described by Pop Matters as patriarchy blasting, feminism championing tunes that are also unapologetically fun. A shift that paved the way for adventurous singles like Bad Decisions, Trump, and her cover of Gaga's Rain on Me. Okay, so here's your video.
Electric currents and basic chemistry. You got your strawberry lip gloss on. I'm so close to you. I hear you breathing. Yeah, I can feel it. So let's get a room. Just let me show you how I get to know you, to know you. 'Cause I've been waiting to give you 7 minutes in heaven, to make this moment feel like forever, to make this moment taste your bubblegum. I've been praying to give you 7 minutes in heaven. We'll turn the closet into a new dimension. Oh yeah, you and me, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Emily. Oh my God, the sun is like totally in my face. We're gonna shift now to kind of a different genre. So this is a more classical piece, and this is going to be mezzo-soprano Natalie Lewis. So a bit about Natalie. Mezzo-soprano Natalie Lewis is a senior at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. In the spring of 2019, Natalie made her UMass Opera Workshop debut performing the roles of Mercury in Purcell's Dido and Aeneas, and The Dragonfly and Rebelles en Enfant et les Sortilèges. In 2020, Natalie debuted another role with UMass Opera Workshop, singing The Third Lady in their praise production of Mozart's Die Zauberflöte. And in the summer of 2019, Natalie embarked on her most treasured singing experience. She attended the American Institute for Musical Studies in Graz, Austria, as a member of their opera studio, where she performed with the Ames Festival Orchestra and the Turin Spiritual Ensemble. So she'll be singing the aria Il mio Fernando from Donizetti's La Favorite. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of background on the piece so you know what's going on. It's set in Castile, Spain, circa 1340, and she's going to be playing the character of Leonora. So in this scene, it's like a love triangle between the King of Spain, Leonora, who's like the king's favorite lady of the court, and Fernando, who's an officer in the king's army. And so in this aria, Leonora has the chance to marry Fernando and decides to let the king know that she really loves Fernando, but she's really feeling a lot of guilt about it. Okay, so here's Natalie. Great, amazing, Natalie. Thank you so much. Okay, so this next piece is a section from a live stream performance by Kit Young and Joey Mealand. So a bit about them. Joey Mealand is a composer, performer, producer, sound designer, and educator. He currently releases and performs his original music under the moniker You Sky, a musical project examining the new augmented reality imposed by computational reliance. And then Kit Young builds video systems that can be played in an improvisational way. He performs collaboratively with other media artists. Through his work, utilizes new media technique. His practice is grounded in the experimental cinema traditions of perception, awareness, social justice, and humor. He uses art as a means of restructuring reality to facilitate change. So in this piece, Joey is going to be performing music live, and then Kit is going to be improvising visuals on top of it based on what he hears in the music. Okay, enjoy. Okay, awesome. So I just wanted to take another moment to remind you that the Venmos of the artists are going to be posted in the comments section. So I'd really recommend that if you like anything you see, make sure to donate to them. Awesome. So then the next piece we're going to have is from the band Avantis. And the song is called Hexagon, and this is a studio recording. So a bit about Avantis. Avantis is a 4-piece rock outfit that consists of Fernando, Eric, David, and Luis Arias. Raised in the south side of Chicago, the Avantis brothers have found inspiration through familial struggle and their underdog mentality. Their art, once described as militant power soul, is a direct window into the energy and passion that fuels this family forward. Okay, awesome. I was about to reprimand people in the comments for being mean, but then I realized that that was just the people in the band roasting themselves. So good job. You guys did a great job. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to be doing an interview with composer Felix Gerard about his upcoming opera he wrote called Hindsight. And then we're just going to be showing a clip from that opera, and it's a song from the opera called Father Time. So a bit about Felix. With music described as dreamlike by the Boston Globe, 25-year-old Felix Gerard is a composer-pianist whose output of approximately 119 works included over 100 art songs, 10 operas, 2 string quartets, and a cantata. Follow his work at www.felixgerardmusic.com. Okay, now we're going to welcome him to the live stream. Hi, Felix. How are you?
I'm good, Madeline. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for waiting in the little reading room.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Great. So can you tell me a bit about your upcoming project, Hindsight?
Yes, I can. So before the pandemic, B. Goodwin brought to me this idea for adapting the Leopold and Loeb trial into an opera. It had always fascinated her, and I work with her a lot. And what I love about working with her as a librettist is that she'll bring all the ideas for the collaborations we do, because that's what I love when I work with other writers, because I write myself, but when I work with someone else, I want to see what they're bringing to the table. And she told me about how she wanted to focus on the events that led up to the trial. So for people that don't know, Leopold and Loeb was a 1920s trial in Chicago that featured Richard Loeb and Nathaniel Leopold on trial for the murder of Loeb's cousin, Bobby Franks. They were convinced that they could commit the perfect crime, and they were influenced by the philosopher Nietzsche and the Übermensch, the idea of the Übermensch, and thought that they could get away with it. However, their perfect plan was foiled because when they were dumping the body for Bobby Franks, Leopold left his glasses, which are a very specific make, at the crime scene. And so the police were able to trace that back to them, and that's how they ultimately ended up getting arrested. And then the trial has gone on to be very famous because of death penalty arguments and stuff. But we weren't really interested in the trial stuff. We wanted to look at the drama leading up to it. And examine how two privileged white men, thought that they could get away with something. And then we used the Michael Cohen testimony as an influence, and also of our past regime, I like to call it, that we lived under. So that the political tides, we really were interested in examining the Red Summer too in Chicago, which happened 100 years ago, because there is so much of that racial conflict that is still very present in our society, even before 2020 happened, because this was back in 2019 when we were developing the piece. And so we were lucky to get it picked up by a wonderful company based in Jersey City called No Dominion Theater Company.
Great.
And yeah, that was really exciting. And then we had my dear friends Gabriel Hernandez and Joseph Butel come on for the leads, with Gabriel playing Leopold and Joe playing Loeb. And so we were all ready to go for New York City Opera Fest last year. And also the pit features clarinet and piano. I would be on piano, and my friend Eric Umbel was going to play clarinet, and Bea was going to direct it, as she always directs her libretti. And coronavirus had other plans. So what we ended up doing is we ended up doing a live stream workshop of the opera this past fall on Zoom, which is the clip you're going to show is an excerpt from. And so we were able to work on the piece through there and work on it further. And now we're just waiting for things to open, for everyone to get vaccinated, and for protocols to be ensured before we even think about coming back live.
Nice. Yeah, that's super exciting. So how has the pandemic changed your process as a composer at all? Because I know that you work a lot with Bea, and you guys were long distance already because she lived in LA. So
yeah, so I guess the one thing that didn't change in 2020 was my relationship with Bea, because it's always been virtual. So used to FaceTime and Skype, and now Zoom. So personally, like, I also work a lot as a pianist, and I lost all my live work because of the pandemic. So that was a lot of time, you know, for concerts, for recording, for practicing for those things, live recording. Then that suddenly I had all this, you know, free time to do things. And so I've done tracks for collaborative piano for various things, like undergrad recitals, my own compositions, and for audition tracks. And I still am doing that ongoing. But I also had then a lot of time to just write music, because I didn't have to run from one place to another or plan for subway time or any of that. I was just like, you know, when I'm not allowed to go outside, I just kind of delved into my craft and stuff, which was really nice, because this time has given me a great pocket of time I wouldn't have had otherwise to workshop new pieces in my repertoire. So like new art songs and also operas. I've written several other operas in quarantine. Like, I think I wrote 4 last year. And I've already written one this year, a full length. So
great.
Yeah, so kind of, it's been great for me to also make connections with a lot of different artists, also all across the country, and work on different things. So you know, when we eventually come back, we have at least these different ongoing projects to still continue developing. So it's been great for me just to keep working on my own craft as an artist, and also getting my work out there to singers and producers and presenters who are interested in hearing it.
Yeah, great. And so you have something upcoming tomorrow?
Yes, I do. So I have on my YouTube the world premiere of my tenor song, The Tree and Old Man Story, with my friend Josh Collier. And it's an a cappella tenor piece that is 10 minutes long, and it tells a very grim story. And it's a very it's a very unique piece in that it's, you know, for solo voice. So I didn't have like an instrumental accompaniment to keep it up. So it kind of challenged me to say like, oh, what are like some things that I could do, you know, now knowing that it is a cappella and keeping the interest. And like the story is like about a man who finds out his girlfriend conspired with her former lover who was married to have his wife murdered so they could be together. So he ended up getting hanged in the end, but she says like, oh, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have met you. So this poem tells the story about this and how the lover still hangs dead, rotting away in the gibbet tree, which is where they used to kill people in England. So it's kind of like a murder ballad in that way, and also like a monodrama. So it was very fun.
That
it was
sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it was my first piece for a cappella tenor voice. I had done several for soprano, but I was like, let's do one for tenor because there isn't any. And also, like, everyone wants to do a cappella pieces now because we can't collaborate in person. And I really wanted to find like the right text because like post-pandemic, I could see this being performed outside in a park near a tree or something. Because I love site-specific stuff. Like, for example, Hindsight we wrote specifically for a warehouse in Midtown, like my jazz opera I did with B Tabula. So I love writing for specific sites too. So,
nice. Okay, great. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to just play a clip of your show now. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so here is Father Time from Hindsight.
When I was a kid, oh, my father told me two types of clocks, son, one rich and one poor. You can see just the second you open its door. There is one you wind once, not again for a week the other, like your mother must daily be piqued. The more money you got, the longer it takes. Do you see what I'm trying to say, son? Well, Pop, when I look in that clock, I see gallows inside, a gibbet, a graveyard, where memories reside, and people like us, we don't belong there. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Prepaid the price will never despair. So if death is a pendulum swinging through time, and the cries of the loved ones from the chime, then man's ultimate
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Felix. So, our last piece is a music video called I Don't Feel Myself. It's featured some of the artists that we've already seen tonight. Joey Meland, again, as You Sky, is doing the music for this piece. Kate Young is doing the video synthesis and editing. Luzzo, who is the movement director from the first piece, is the choreographer for this piece and the performer. And then I was the director of this piece. So, a little background on this piece. I Don't Feel Myself is an interdisciplinary music video that examines how a sense of self is altered by digital influence. The piece follows a protagonist lost in a digital world and completely dissociated from his inner life. Worked visuals dance in real time with Luzzo, creating a surreal world in which nothing is organic but everything is alive. Augmenting You Sky's similarly titled track, the video reveals what is at stake when we become addicted to our virtual selves.
I don't feel myself. I sigh with the pressure of age. I look on my crowd. I see another growth or impasse. Melting woods in sunset. Phantom memories sharpened. Mouth breathe loudly. Felt
Okay, so that's the show. Thank you to everyone who came. This is your last chance to donate to any of the artists. All the Venmos, again, are in the comments. And also, if you missed the beginning or want to see any of these videos again, this will be recorded. And so it's either on YouTube, or you can go to the Tank's website and go to their variety show section. It just has an archive of all the different variety shows. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. I really enjoyed hosting, and have a great day. Bye.